Michelle, is this your first time hearing the music?
This is my first time. Is this your debut yesterday?
No, last week.
Last week when I was
It's
gone.
a thing.
Oboe or clarinet? One of
Play
those.
it again.
Might be oboe.
The music knowledge.
I don't know.
Between you and Walt yesterday, Walt threw on, when I was in college, I
Yeah.
took a history of jazz course, and he started naming jazz musicians, which inspired you to want to hear some more jazz in town.
Yep.
If you guys have a special jazz spot
Tell me.
you go to listen to jazz music and do what you do at a jazz bar, lounge, is that what?
Yes.
usually-
He was telling me about the Torch Club. That is the only one that
Unfamiliar.
he said they
That's
have
in
jazz
town.
music, but sometimes it comes with blues. If you're not into blues, maybe you don't want to go. I don't know. I just want all the good places.
She's gonna tell you later. Okay, so we want you
Offline
to
conversation.
we want you to tell us what it is you guys want to talk about first. So you guys know the topics. You see them right there in the caption. So you guys start commenting on the story, the headline that's catching your attention most,
Yes.
and then we'll go in on it. So for now, Adiane, you're really good at reminding people to do what?
Share, please. That's what I'm going to do right now. Click on the share button so that we can get as many people involved in this conversation as possible, because that just makes the conversation even better.
Oh,
And just to give you an overview of the 3 topics that you can choose from, in case you don't want to scroll up and read what the caption is. So you have 1, Trump's intern class, maybe hashtag so white. How do you feel about that?
Is this the Oscars?
Oh, is it?
Hashtag
Number
Oscars.
2, there are some moms out there that say maybe they regret taking that jump into motherhood.
That is-
How do you
that
feel
is
about
a hot
that?
Topic.
And not
Right?
just,
That
well,
is a-
this
if
conversation
people are
is
being
going into
honest,
dads too.
That's going to be a real
And it's
one.
3 women who
Yep.
were honest with how they felt. So
Mm-hmm.
if you guys want to hear about that first, let us know. And then that third topic.
This one is a doozy. There is a beautiful woman in her 50s who says that being pretty stopped her from living her very best life. If you want that tea, pick
Okay.
number 3.
What are people doing? What are people saying?
Let's see.
Anyone giving us any
There's something
indication?
blocking the front.
Uh-oh. Go to comments
I'm not
right here.
There we go.
Good
nope,
morning.
everyone's saying good morning right now.
Oh,
So we're
okay.
going to have to
Okay,
give you the tea.
Since I have a second then, I will
Okay.
tell
Okay.
you, the Shady Lady Saloon, Midtown Sacramento.
Yes.
Randomly on Fridays, you'll get this band called the Crescent Cats. Both Ks.
You
Crescent
okay?
Cats. They are amazing. That I never buy CDs from, people playing music or
Right.
anything like that. I ended up buying a CD. It was the best $10 ever spent. So if
Yeah.
you're looking for some really great jazz with a lot of trumpet, almost felt very New Orleans-like.
That's what I like.
yeah.
That's exactly
The Crescent Cats.
Didn't you buy a CD recently?
Yeah,
You
my
were
wife
up at
did.
the- yeah.
We were at Bear Valley on like an Easter family ski trip thing.
Okay.
And the guy's name is J.R. or B.R. Lively. I can't remember, but he was really good, like in person.
Okay.
But he records. Usually it's the other way. Usually they're great live and then they record terribly. It's
Yeah.
overproduced. But he was good live and good. Good
love
CD, and he
that.
sold it for $10, like out of a suitcase,
See?
literally. It was
10 bucks.
awesome.
Support, support, support. Okay, I'm seeing the support for this one story having to
Yes.
do with the moms who
Yes.
came out and they told Victoria Derbyshire program, I think this is overseas, so 3 women came forward and said, you know what? It's not that we don't like
Okay.
our kids. It's the fact that after we had our children, and one mom who raised her, she's a single mom, so
Okay.
she raised her 3 kids, and the youngest one is 17 years old right now, and even then, after having raised 3 kids, she's saying that she just was never very maternal.
Ooh.
She was just never maternal. She thought she would be. Growing
Right.
up, she thought, oh, you have a kid, white picket fence, that whole dream. But
Exactly.
after she had the kids, she just felt like she really wasn't connected. And even with her youngest being 17, that was her guilt. And she says that she hopes that this doesn't make her kids feel a certain way. But I'm sitting here thinking, if I was the kid, I'd be
I
like,
would feel it.
dang, you regret my existence
the
almost,
dream.
you know?
That-
So the other 2 moms, so one of the 3 moms they surveyed here, one was a single mom, one was 20-year-old mom when she became a mother, and
Okay.
one was an adopted woman who became a mother. So those are just 3 different perspectives and experiences that I wanted to find those specifically
Okay.
because I felt like, well, what's at the root of this? Or there may be some trends. Or all mothers who they surveyed, were they adopted women? So
Right.
maybe there's a trend there. Maybe if they were adopted, they felt
wanna
like they
know more.
couldn't contribute or whatever that may be. But no, they have different life experiences. But some of the things that stuck out to me, we're bringing in Brittany here, by the way, because she's a mother. So we thought with Michelle, with Brittany, with Rob being a father, you're a parent. And,
Love it.
you know, I want to be a mother, and I don't know what your experience is. But
Big old question mark right
big
now.
old question mark.
Big old question.
But, you know, it's that sort of, that fear that some
Absolutely.
could feel before. It's like, wait, is it all it's cracked up to be, as one mom put it? Some moms said that they felt guilt once they had the kid and felt this way, they felt that they didn't have the capacity to take care of another human being and raise this
That is huge.
person in the world.
That responsibility is one of the scariest things to me. Knowing that every single decision that you make impacts a human life and psychologically what that will do to that child, that is enough to make me say,
Can
How
we go?
about maturity?
It's
How about
massive.
maturity? Did you ever feel that you weren't mature enough after you had the kids? Weren't mature enough to have?
I wanted
the child?
kids since I could remember. When I was a little one, I would always play house. I'd always be the mom. I would always be the teacher. So I've always wanted them. But I want to go back to your story real quick. Are they talking about regret as in they're not accomplishing what they wanted to do besides
There's
kids?
no
or
maternal
There's no
instinct.
maternal instinct completely.
And they can't control that. So they don't want people
Tough.
and women out there to feel vilified. If they know that they don't want to be moms, that's sort of the first sign that these moms are saying that maybe you don't have that maternal instinct. But there are some others, and you brought up a good point. You know, there are people in your life who say, I don't want to have kids. But how about if you end up having kids and you fall in love? It's a missed opportunity, right? So I guess you just never know until you have them.
I just think it's one of those things that if you want to do it, you need to just try it. Because if you don't, then you're always going to have this regret of, well, I could have been a parent. Maybe I could have been a good mom or
I wonder what that would have been like, that experience.
Yeah,
having
just feeling like you're missing out. I think we were talking about like FOMO this morning.
Yeah.
fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. So I
Fear of
think,
momming out.
Yeah, fear of momming out. So I think
Good one, Dad.
it's one of those things where you
Dad
could
joke.
try it, or maybe you could be an aunt, or maybe you could be a foster parent to really see if you're connected. But maybe it's just one of those things. You just don't feel connected to the kid that you gave birth to. So I don't know what that's like, and I would love for everyone to weigh in, but I'm not really seeing too many comments.
Can
but
I say something too?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is why I wanted to join.
Yes,
Why you are here.
I believe you're mic'd up,
Yeah.
well lit,
I gotta
and
work
ready
on
to
that.
go.
But I will tell you this, and I feel passionately about this. So I was young. Obviously, I have an 11-year-old. So I was young. I'm with my husband, but we were not married at the time. So telling my parents, everybody, that I was pregnant was a scary thing for me. And some people put that shame on me. And I remember this day that somebody I love and adore was like, your life is over. You will have no dreams. Like, I replayed that for years and years. And I wish I could go back and tell myself, hey,
Right.
my life is not over. I'm here.
Right.
My son made me a better person. I didn't plan for him, but I thank God every day for him. So I think it is something that you don't, it's a blessing if you don't.
And how do
have
those family members feel
yes.
about Chance now?
They admire him so much. He is the love of our life, our circle. And I think it's just a reminder that words hurt. I mean, when you're young and pregnant and telling your life is over, like that can break you.
Yep.
Right.
But at the same point, you know, you just have to work through it. Like, don't let anyone tell you your plans, what you can and cannot do. Because I stand here every day saying, I'll do whatever
Right.
I want. And I'll work
you
as hard
do.
as
You're
I
doing it
can.
right now.
And you're a
to
great
this
mother.
point, we're just getting to know Brittany. Your family comes in the newsroom the other day, lights up the newsroom. I mean, we were banging down the doors to meet your son, to meet your husband, an aura of positive energy, and it was a beautiful thing because you could see the whole relationship right in front of your eyes. So whoever said that, you don't
Like,
while
your
you're
opinion
going
is
to
not
school.
valid.
Yeah.
While you're going to school, while you're doing
She's
the
a hard
traffic
worker.
here, while you're a mother, and long distance. That's got to
Right.
be tough, the distance between you and
it's-
Chance right now.
It is so tough, but I want to make sure that I tell my son that, you know, you're equal partners. So my expectations are the same as his father. So we all have to contribute. So I don't want to cry, but I just
No,
want to go back to that
we all
moment.
cried. We all cried. on this show. I cried many times.
Ugly cried on this show.
Yeah.
I think there's a big difference between what Brittany went through and the third mom that you mentioned. So Brittany, you might not have planned your pregnancy, but you were open to having children.
Well, at that point, there's no choice.
Yeah.
But no, I know what you're saying.
The third mom adopted a child. Is that correct?
From my understanding, she was an adopted.
Okay, still to the same
Still
point.
to the point. She was adopted. She grew up thinking, like, God, I just want to have a normal life and family.
Exactly. When you grow up with that desire to create that family, you would assume that at the end of the day, it's a decision you would never regret because it's something you've wanted for your whole life.
Yeah.
And I can only compare it to the one thing that I know, and it is getting a dog. And I'm serious. It's a big commitment to have a pet.
Yes.
You have to be present for them. You need to make sure that you're at the house to take care of them.
Keep them alive.
And there are plenty of people who return their pets
Right,
a
'cause it's too
couple
much.
weeks after they get them because it's too much.
Right.
And so you think about what that responsibility is like for a whole human that there's nowhere to give them. You can't hand them over.
Right, unless it's family member and they end up being more responsible than
Right.
you are, and then that creates
That
a
is
dynamic.
true.
Then the kid resents you growing up, and it's this whole thing. It's a vicious cycle.
Right.
So yeah, it's a huge responsibility. Go ahead, Rob.
So I would just say this. I would say I think there's a big problem of expectations with being a parent. With the second you have a kid, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. Like, oh my gosh, full
it's definitely
circle, the
not.
circle of life, and passing on my name and all that. I would say in the beginning, 90% of it is really just not fun. I mean, honestly.
It's hard work.
Yes, it's hard
so
work.
hard.
Okay, now remember, I'm a dad, I'm not the mother. So it's different for dads in the beginning initially.
Sure.
Okay.
Because your job is to take care of mom and the baby, but mostly mom, because mom's taking care of the baby, just because biologically that's kind of how it's set up. But it's really hard. And every day, and you guys hear about it all the time because I'm very open about the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
Most of the highs make it on TV. Most of the lows are when I come in
And you
tired.
tell us.
Yeah, I'm
Tell us
tired.
about it.
Really good story time.
But here we are on some online or whatever.
Right.
A lot of it's just really hard, and I think that people are not willing to admit that. They're not
Yeah.
willing to share the real life, the piles of laundry that my kid said, I don't love you anymore because they didn't get a chocolate bar or whatever. Or there's things that hurt, and you know, there's so many good things and great things, but a lot of it is just really hard. And people aren't willing to admit that. So when people have these feelings of maybe I'm not maternal, maybe I don't love my kids as much as others,
Right.
I would say you're probably all in the same group. You love your kids sometimes, but sometimes it's
Frustrating.
just
You just need
it's
a
just
break.
hard. You get exhausted, and sometimes you love them, but today was really hard.
So-
I mean that happens a lot, and people just need to admit it so that everyone can feel like they're involved in this yin and yang circle of life where there's just a lot of tough days and there's a lot of beautiful days.
And we don't
believe
expect
that.
people right now to be chiming in saying, oh gosh, I feel the same way and I regret it. If you are, thank you for being so candid and open. But most of the comments I'm seeing come in right now are saying, oh no, like what Marta Gomez says, I'm glad I had one child. She blessed me with 3 amazing grandchildren. And this is a somber one, but thank you, Serena Cardi, for being so open. She says, as a mother who has had to bury 2 of her 3 kids, the very concept of quote unquote regret that's in the headline for the story we're talking about around having children pisses her off. Oh, great. Now that comment went away from me.
Right here.
right, it's such a
The
privilege
hardest,
to bring
yeah,
up a
it's
child.
the hardest yet most rewarding process. If you don't feel that way, you should place them with families who do.
Yes, that is true.
That's absolutely
true.
But then you have Jessica Downey chiming in saying, but what about the moms that have a kid, realize it's not their thing, but then keep having kids because that's what society says is best? Why can't those moms just have
Or
one?
that's what the husband wants, or the family and grandma and grandpa. I mean, there
pressure.
is a lot of pressure.
It's like it's never enough.
Yeah,
Like, when are you
it's-
going to get married? When are you going to get married? You plan the
right,
wedding, have
right.
when are you going to have kids? When are you have one? When are you going to have 2 kids?
Right.
It's always
And-
something.
It's
and
always
there's-
that same day too.
Uh-huh.
When we had our wedding, it was like, when are you guys gonna have kids? When we had London,
know.
when are you having your next
in
one?
the speeches, we can't
like,
wait for you
oh.
guys to bring it. Start a
welcome, welcome.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Which I know,
Slow down,
I've done
everyone.
it too. I've done it to my friends too.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh my gosh, you guys are gonna make the
Yep.
prettiest babies. Keep going, have 10 kids. Like, da-da-da. Meanwhile, they could be struggling with that why.
Right.
Or the idea that someone could be struggling to
Right.
conceive in the first place. And it's like,
Yeah.
when are you guys gonna have kids?
It's
Like, you don't
the
know my
question.
story.
It's
Yeah.
very easy for a family to say, this is what you should do.
Yeah.
Are you going to babysit? Are you going to be there? Are you going to pay for college? Because that's the thing that the actual family has to do. And for a lot of families, no kids is totally fine. They're like, we're good.
know
We
a lot
love
of
what we're
people,
doing.
yeah.
We're not really feeling it, and we're just not going to have kids. And that's
Yeah.
and I feel like these days that's more and more accepted. It's more. It should always be accepted, but it's more talked about. It's more common. And that people should understand that that's a path too. It's whatever you want to do between you and your spouse. And it's great as generations move along that there's more and more options, because now whatever you're feeling inside, maybe you can act on that instead of just doing what you feel that you're supposed to do and then getting caught up in this world of
Yeah.
regret and living a life that's not your own.
So I saw something pop up 3 different times, and it's
Okay.
about this desire to create these children who are strong personalities, who can speak their own mind, but then what that means as a parent for the back talk and how
one.
dealing with that back talk can make you go from loving your kid so much that, like Jessica Downey says, she went from being in tears over how much she loves her daughter to about how fast she's growing to 2 hours later being on the verge of tears because she drives her insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't
And
be
it's
like
like-
wanting the cake and eating it too. Like,
Exactly, and how do you balance that as
Right.
a
You
mom
walk
or
away.
a dad?
You just have to walk away. In the sense of, London is driving me crazy. I will literally put the TV on, and I don't care. The TV's going to be on cartoons or whatever's on. I will walk away because I need that moment, especially now that I'm pregnant. I just need that moment to just get some clarity and just to take a breather. I don't think people realize that it's okay to step back and just let her be her own, because that's how she's growing up too. She needs to be self-sufficient. So she'll learn how to, oh, here's her mom. I'm going to find a
Learn
channel.
how to change the channel, girl. You want another channel?
Yeah.
You were talking about like back talking and stuff. My son's very quiet, talkative, you know, like he follows the directions. But 6 months ago, he started back talking me. And it was very frustrating.
Teenager.
But I wouldn't let it go. Turns out he was being bullied at school and he didn't know how to tell me. It broke my heart. He was scared to tell me that. And so he was fighting with me to kind of get that aggression out.
Yeah.
And so I went to the school, they had a PTA meeting.
Yes,
I
you
went
did.
up to the parent
Yes,
that was
you did.
bullying my son. And they're like, this TV news lady, oh my God.
Here we go.
I was like, my husband was mortified. I was like, hey, we have a problem. Our kids are fighting. And my kid's like in the corner bawling. And, you know, and this lady was like, no, we don't have a problem. Like she was really, I'm offended. I don't know how you address
How did
that.
it end?
How did it end? That kid ended up punching out another kid 2 days later.
Okay.
And he got suspended. And
Whoa.
the principal worked with him or whatever. Chance ended up inviting this kid to his birthday party.
What?
Really?
Yeah, it was a full circle moment for
Whoa.
sure.
Are they friends now?
They are friends, but
That's
we had to
good.
do
That's
like a lot of
good.
group talking and.
Dude.
But that's good though.
Okay,
That's like
parent of-
next. That's
And listening to
some
your parents.
next level parenting. I can just tell you right now, that could never happen. I'd be like,
I was so bad.
Yeah, but way for sticking up for your son.
Yes.
So
I wanted
then he
him to see
feels
that.
the confidence and the power to then take control of the situation later.
Or to
That's
confide in
next
you,
level parenting.
and that you're going to try your hardest to be the fixer
I felt
until
awful,
he can, you know, until
you're
he's a
awesome.
grown person and he can fix it himself. But that was really good of you to listen, because for you, you wanted, you were angry, right? You
I
were
was like,
angry.
why are you back talking to me? Why are you
and
not
something
listening?
deeper.
Yeah.
Something deeper.
Wow.
Good tip.
Sandra was weighing in. I know a lot of families that struggle. Children are not for everyone. No one should feel pressured to have children because it's a societal expectation. But if you want children, it's your choice. And I absolutely agree with that.
And if you've got like family members, cousins, brothers, sisters that are like, I'm not down with kids, we're just not going to do it, don't pressure them. It's really, it just makes every interaction awkward and not natural.
Right.
And you hear it all the time, and you hear it on the sidelines, because once say you have a family member that says, you know what, we're just not going to have kids, like why does this keep coming up? And then you're like, dude, cool, whatever. Then they feel like they can open up to you and be like, this is really bothering me, because it's like I'm not a complete person until this thing happens, and they should never feel that way. You know, whatever choices they want to make as a couple, and even being in a relationship, some people are going to be single forever. That's just the way that it goes. I mean, there's so many more options. You don't have to live somebody else's life.
Agreed.
All right.
That is
Good
true.
points.
Right.
But all
I'm
of you
getting
very
more coffee.
Okay, you go get coffee, Mother of the Year. We love having her on the team because it brings a
Yes.
different perspective when you have a child who is a little older than
Preteen.
Yeah.
Oh,
than what you guys have, you know, because you guys are at different stages.
Absolutely.
I'm like the pre-baby, you're like maybe baby, and you're like baby and toddler,
And
you're
then
baby and
Becoming
baby
a
on
toddler.
board.
Oh, yeah.
That is so
You just-
fun.
Oh, summed it all up right there.
great. We
Well,
literally
great,
have
like
everything
I'm a high
covered.
schooler. Yeah.
Cool though. I like
But
that.
it's good, different perspectives. And then, of course, you guys are our 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth host today.
Yes.
Right? You are bringing in all your other commentaries. So that's awesome. If I had not had a daughter, says Trina Nut Butler, my legacy would have ended. I now have 3 grandsons, and God has blessed me richly with them all. My question to you, Trina, is did you plan on having your daughter? Because that, you know, sometimes it's like, wow, I had them, and now look, it made my life so much better. But I'm
Right.
wondering if that situation would not have happened, wasn't a plan. You know, it's sort of like just a sign that sometimes everything happens for a reason. And I am a firm believer in all of that.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though for a
Right.
lot of people, especially our generation right now, it's about freezing of the eggs, right?
Oh,
Because you
yes.
want to have kids when you're a little older, and the pressure that people put on you, like, maybe you should just freeze an egg or two, because you only get a certain amount of eggs when you start your life, and they're gonna be, you know. And at what point do you have to really have those conversations? Can you
Right.
afford something like that? Surrogacy. That's
Ooh,
something
that's
that's
like a whole nother
that's
level
a whole
of
nother
money.
level.
But that's
of
a
money.
reality. We looked yesterday, I think it was, at a chart that showed teen pregnancy rates are down, but pregnancy rates for millennials who are now 30 to 34, they're just slowly ticking up. So people still are waiting even longer and longer to have those kids, which means that's a reality. For a lot of people, shoot, that would be a reality for me. First, you got to get a boyfriend. All of those things are important. Order of operations is key in the Daytel family.
Right, and then the dating online scene that is erupted in this generation.
Lord.
So you guys have a ton more options, but with
We
more
do.
options, then you have more. Are you just
Cramping
more?
in my finger? I know.
But are you
Hi, Megan.
pickier because you know you have all of those options?
You are. Well, I think I am the pickiest because my parents shoot people down very quickly. So they know exactly the type of lifestyle that they've provided, the one that I would want to live, and the type of person that I would
So they're very much part of
need.
your dating scene.
Oh, absolutely.
But-
This is something I definitely want to talk about.
Interesting.
It's because you guys are all married. If I'm dating someone, I want to introduce them to my parents pretty early to see if there is even a vibe there.
Agreed.
And because if there isn't,
Then you're
this
out.
doesn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna take
Thoughts?
the opposite tack on there.
Okay.
Whoever I'm dating and I'm serious about and I'm in love with them, I don't care what my parents think about them at all. What? And I'll tell you why. Because it's not about them.
That's true.
That's their life, and they're going to reflect on their decisions and how things went.
When I
all
was
that.
young, yeah.
You got to trust yourself, and if you love that person,
Right.
then go for it because they're putting crazy expectations and life experiences that they lived and what they think on you and your experience, and it may not be that way.
So
But
very
how do you
Romeo and
love-
Juliet.
I don't know how I would get to a place of loving someone if they weren't loved by my family.
Oh, I
think
totally
that's
understand.
The difference.
I totally understand. I totally understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is there's always a middle ground. Like they may not approve of everything, but obviously the kind of person that you would be attracted to and be in a relationship with would have the same qualities that your parents would enjoy too. But you
would
don't
hope.
let them nitpick these people to death because nobody's perfect. Trust me.
I think it might too, and this is just putting it out there from my experience as well. My experience in dating, Caesar,
The dating.
since
It
I was in
started
high
as a
school.
dating show.
No, not really that, but just the cultural impact on dating.
Oh, yeah.
Like in the Latino community, like your dads and your uncles and your strong-willed mothers and aunties and everyone are going to question and ask
Everything.
and judge,
Everything.
and it's expected and it's accepted and it's at some point wanted,
Desired. Oh,
desired
absolutely.
because you have lived your life. And is it a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. But
Right.
you want to make the women in your family, especially in my case, in my cousin's case, you want to make them proud. You want to make them
Yes.
happy. So the fact that every one of the women in my family are in love with Caesar, my husband Caesar, just like warms my heart to the core. I mean, Caesar could spend an entire weekend with the ladies in my family without me, and they just will gush about Caesar for the way he treats me, for the way he just is as a human being. So did that have, a part? I remember Caesar wasn't this like guy walked around school with his chest out. I was attracted to that, but he was the quiet kid who was just a really good guy. And I remember telling my best friend Justine, Caesar's the guy I want to marry, not the guy I want to date right now.
Oh my gosh.
And
You
it
said
would
it just
that's
like that?
and it just happened like that. Yeah, but I kept falling in love with him as we got later in high school. He was football captain and I was cheer captain. It was just like, it was like the
had to
perfect
happen.
little
So
story.
high school.
So high school.
Jessica Downey just wants to know if I'm an only child. I think she's going to comment on whether or not this plays into how she feels about this. I am an only child.
Interesting.
Can I just say that your mom has weighed in? Can I read this comment?
Oh God, yes, I haven't even read it.
Okay, so Mama Daytil. Hi, Miriam. Good morning.
Hi, Miriam.
Okay, we married with the mindset, no children. We didn't feel like parent material, especially me. 5 years later, God bless us with Ariane. Well, being Ariane's mom has been the best thing I've ever done. Ariane was
Touche.
a very easy child to raise.
Yes.
And now you're crying on the show.
I know.
Pat. Yes.
But
But that's interesting. See, your mom even said it. She didn't think.
they didn't think they could have kids, and that would make me cry. Thank you. But it's their passion though. That's what I'm talking about. I don't have the passion that they did for raising a child, and so that is what scares me. They did such a good job, in my opinion, of creating an atmosphere where a child could develop opinions, know how to voice those opinions, and stand up for herself. That's hard.
You don't think
But
you
you
don't
just
think you
said
could do
you said
that?
question mark.
Of
You didn't
course
say
you
that you didn't
could.
want to have one right now, obviously, but
don't know.
you don't know later on that
Honestly.
you do want one. You don't know, right? Or are you just completely against it?
No, I think I'm overwhelmed by that fear.
Yeah.
I think
It
you're
is overwhelming.
or
Yeah,
maybe
it's
very
overthinking
understandable.
at some
Yeah.
point because you're so good at all of those things you just described because that is your life that you described.
Yeah.
That you are that. That are you afraid that maybe it won't be as good as that?
Ooh, yes.
But
allowed to curse.
Yeah.
But yes, that's definitely
interesting.
it.
Right,
Let's see
because
what people-
if you have a kid, you want them to have the same experiences that you had, not
Exactly.
less, maybe even more. And
it's
that's
a lot
always
of
the
pressure
desire.
on you.
So to live up to that, that's tough.
Whew.
That's a lot.
Again,
that's
it's
a lot of
society
pressure.
wanting you to do and be something,
But I
and
feel
then
like you're not really
for your
shaped
kids as
by it.
well.
I feel like you're not like really shaped by what other people think.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so I
However,
don't think it's society, is it?
creating this human that literally depends on you for everything, and every decision you make impacts that person's life. It doesn't matter what other people think.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Like,
Sure.
I want to make sure that I'm making the right decisions. And at 30, I don't make the right decisions every day of my life. I sure don't.
I think it might be
None
a
of
little
us
bit
do, right?
easier if you think of it this way. The parents have a lot to say in how the kids turn out.
Yeah.
But the kids have a lot to say in
Yeah.
how they turn out. And you can only do so much. Your role is to be a good role model, a good person,
Yep.
do the best you can. Love, care for these kids, the long game. It's not about the wipe warmer and the bottle sanitizer. That's
Right.
or what stroller you buy. It's when they're 12 and they're having difficulty at school, or that big soccer game and you're really busy and they said it was really important one time and maybe you weren't listening. You don't go and they're really upset about that. It's the long game. So I think that you have a lot to do with it, but I think the kids, they become their own person and you're
Yeah.
there to kind of shepherd their own
Yeah.
individuality.
See, and that excites me. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I am
It's not all on
very
you.
much looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the challenge. I'm looking forward to all the things that come with
Girl,
it.
it's hard.
I know it's hard. I know. But I don't know because I haven't had one. But I'm
it's
like
so
ready for
rewarding.
that challenge. And I
It's
just
so
think
rewarding.
I've always had this maternal instinct. Like all the young people in my family, like
I agree with that.
I just like they have a natural thing to come to me and I go to them, and it's these special relationships I have with all my little cousins, and I don't know, like I'm there, but I understand that pressure
Yeah.
too. Why one would feel that way? I really do.
But I'll be Titi-Ati all day long.
Yeah,
That means aunt. I'll be an aunt all day
I
long.
like Titi-Ati.
Which, by the way, I had to get my little cousins to start calling me Titi-Ati because I will never actually have nieces and nephews.
Oh, that's
So there's
another
that.
thing. Titi-Ati.
This
My
is
kids will
first
be
world problems.
Titi-Ati will
Hey,
be
we
to my kids
got
too.
to
Yeah.
give Joshua Willison a shout out here because he says, I'm a young adult with
Okay.
a 5-year-old. I'll never regret having a kid. Yes, I could be somewhere else, but I am much too happy to have my princess in my life.
I love that.
Yay, thank you. And then we were pointing at one comment, and of course, because you guys are commenting so much, we appreciate that. It's flying by. Do you know which comment you were looking
Yes,
at?
Trina. She
Trina,
told
go
us
ahead.
a very deep story
Oh.
about her relationship with the father of her children. So I want to read that for you guys. She says that what she didn't know is that she would end up getting beaten and nearly killed by her ex-husband the day after her father died. She had him arrested, filed for divorce when she was 8 months old. I'm not sure. I think that was
She
the
had
child.
the 8-month-old.
And raised her alone for her whole life, but she never regretted having her.
Okay.
Even though I had to work hard as a cleaning lady to support her family, it wasn't easy, but she will always consider it worth it.
And it goes to one of the women who were surveyed in this article that started this conversation where she was a single mother. But what's the name one more time?
Trina Nut Butler.
Trina, thank you so much for being
Yeah.
so transparent, and it brings a whole different perspective that the kid essentially like saved your life. Right? Like,
you
I
can
see
look
it
at
like that,
a piece of hope.
Thank goodness, even from someone who treated you so poorly, there was that light at the end of that tunnel. So thank goodness for your child there on that. But that's incredible. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in today. Can we squeeze a couple more in? Should we get to just surfacing
wanna
some of the
drop
other-
Your mom
nugget.
thinks I'm wrong on whatever I said.
Does she? Oh, what
It
did
might
she
have
say?
to do with the
About the parents.
parental approval.
Yes.
What
you
I'm
think it's a
saying,
cultural
that's
thing?
when she
Oh,
commented.
she
I don't know.
absolutely thinks you're wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No. I'm not discounting the parents' opinion. I've just seen relationships that are really tight and really bonded, and one parent out of all the four might have some sort of issue, and it throws the whole thing off the rails.
And then you're or that
yeah,
person's
exactly.
unhappy.
Yeah, and it's like, why can't we just be together? Like it can interfere with an otherwise great relationship. So that's my only concern is that
Yeah.
the parents obviously have a huge role in all of this, and it's very important because it makes the whole relationship easier.
Sure.
But if I'm talking to the people that if you're really in love and that's the person for you, you got to just go forward and move forward, even if there's some resistance. Because if that's the right person for you and they have the same qualities that you love,
Values.
your family will grow to love them as well.
Like you said, Michelle,
there's
Romeo
initial
and Juliet.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
it's a traditional
initial.
story.
I have hesitations But it's very early. Usually when this happens, it's early in the relationship anyway. Those two people are still getting to know each other.
Yeah.
So if they're together for years and they love each other, obviously there's something there, and maybe the parents hopefully see it.
Yeah.
It does not work this way in the daytime.
Well, here's the other thing. You're a boy, you're a girl. I'm just interested to know if the gender's
true.
coming. Because if you were to ask my brother,
Okay.
he'd be like, well, no, if I love the person, I love the person. Where you ask me, I'm
Right.
like, no, I definitely want mom and dad's,
There might be something
Good
to
point.
it.
Yeah.
you
Right.
know, their approval or whatnot. So
It's
that's
these
something.
ungrateful, naughty boys. They're
these boys.
jumping out of trees, breaking arms, just doing their own thing. Never expecting, and then they go crying for mommy at the end of the day. Right?
The
There we
relationship
go.
between mom and son is very sacred. Mom does tell me that all the time.
Oh.
So mwah, I love that. I hope to have a son one day. And you have a baby boy on the way.
Yay.
What's your
We're
today?
Week 29 right now.
Week
So
29.
mid-June, everyone. Oh
The
my
size
goodness.
of the baby right now?
Baby acorn squash. Or butternut squash.
I love to
whatever you
eat
want.
them. That's a weird thing to say.
Bye.
Sorry.